Hi, this is Rada Keeping It Real, and this is a book that I found in a used bookstore in Williamsburg, Virginia at the Outlet Mall. And the title of the book is The Story of the Bible, and it's written and pictures are drawn by Hendrik Willem Van Loon. This book is very old, 1941 that it was published. And it's something about it that's telling me I'll be reading through it as I'm reading through the New Testament. And the reason why is because it tells the Bible as a story, like the warning of the prophets, the Civil War, the Israelite kingdom, the conquest of Canaan, the finding new pastures, wandering in the wilderness, further westward. Let me put this. The pioneers' creation, literary inheritance. But what caught my eye was the author wrote a foreword to his sons. And this is what it says. This is the story of the Bible. I have written it because I think that you ought to know more about the Bible than you do. And I really could not tell you where to go for just this sort of information I want you to have. Of course, I might ask you to read the original, but I'm not certain that you would. For many years, little boys of your age have been frightened away from it by the solemn faces and forbidding attitude of those who believe that the holy volume has been entrusted to their particular care, like the priest. And yet, you never can be thoroughly educated without knowing these stories. Besides, at one time or another in your lives, you may badly need the wisdom that lies hidden in these ancient chronicles. This book has been a most faithful companion of man for many hundred generations. A few of the chapters were written as long as 2,800 years ago. Others are of much more recent date. For many centuries, it was almost the only book your ancestors possessed or cared to read. They knew it by heart. They made the law of Moses the highest law of the land. Then, when the age of modern science came, there arose a conflict, which gave rise to a bitter warfare between those who held the book to be divine origin and those who regarded it merely as an account of certain historical events. And for a time, the Bible was hated as cordially by many men and many women as it had been loved and revered before by their fathers and grandfathers. Of all this, I shall tell you nothing. I'm not preaching to you. I am not defending or attacking a cause. I shall merely tell you that you ought to know, in my own opinion, and heaven forbid that I should ask others to agree, that your lives may be more full of understanding, of tolerance, and of love for that which is good and beautiful and therefore holy. It will be comparatively easy to write about the Old Testament. It is a story of a certain tribe of desert people who, after many years of wandering, finally conquered a little corner, and he's saying, of Western Asia, where they settled down and founded a nation of their own. Then we come to the New Testament. This is going to be very difficult. The New Testament centers around one single figure. It tells the story of a simple carpenter of the village of Nazareth who asked nothing of life and gave all. There may be other stories more interesting than that of Jesus, but I have never read any. And so I shall give you a very simple account of his life as I see it, not a word more and not a word less, for that I am sure is the way he would like to have had me tell it. Hendrik Willem Van Loon. Now this goes back to when I was reading the Old Testament, even the Apocrypha. It was exciting reading. I knew what I was reading. I was reading a story about this group of people, and I was following this group of people through the story. And like I was saying, when you get to the New Testament, it is totally about one person. And what this right here made me realize is that no matter how hard it has been for me to read that New Testament, because I have to try to read it with a new set of eyes, not church eyes, it is so powerful that a portion of this Bible is about one man and what one man did. How powerful must that one man be? And that's how I will see the rest of the reading of the New Testament. And I will ask the Ruach HaKodesh to reveal that power to me and to anyone who hears me read it and to anyone who reads it. So I will be reading through this little book probably throughout the time I'm reading through the New Testament. It talks about the birth of Jesus, John the Baptist, the childhood of Jesus, the new teacher, which is where we're at right now, where in Mark, where he's teaching, the old enemies, the death of Jesus, the triumph of an idea. And then it goes through, and this man who wrote this book, yes, you drew all the pictures in here, is it goes through the story of the Bible. And we'll kind of go through that. I love this. I absolutely love this. So I wanted to share that. Really simple. We are going to read through a little bit of this story of the Bible, written and drawn by Hendrik Willem Van Loon, published in 1941. So with that, until next time, it's right to keeping it real.